Hi there, my name is Sarah Segar. I'm from Experiential Learning Depot. If you're dabbling in project-based learning this year, or you're trying it out and you want to do something new, you want to get into project-based learning, I am going to encourage you to tap into one of the most valuable tools you have at your disposal, and that is your community. And I don't mean things like field trips or guest speakers, though those are also powerful tools that you have at your disposal. I'm going to show you 6 impactful ways to use your community as a resource in project-based learning, and I'll wrap it up with how to make those connections happen. Okay, here we are. We're going to talk about how to turn the community into the ultimate PBL resource. Project-based learning is real world. Students investigate meaningful questions, they solve problems, and create authentic final products. So the key is that real world learning doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens outside in the world with real people, in real places. That's where your community comes in. The first awesome way to use the community as a resource is to tap into real-world expertise and skills training. Bring in professionals to teach students skills that support their projects. This can elevate student learning way beyond what we can offer on our own as teachers. I once invited a local graphic designer to support students in designing promotional materials for the awareness campaign piece of the PBL that they were working on at the time. Another way to use the community as a resource is to have students connect with mentors. Mentors provide ongoing guidance and accountability, and this works especially well for long-term, career-connected, or advanced student-led projects. One of my students was once working on a sustainable fashion project, and she connected with a local clothing designer, and that mentor helped her turn her idea into something really real. Another really valuable way to use the community as a resource is to source materials and supplies from the community. So sometimes local businesses and organizations are happy to donate materials, tools, or equipment. It just takes asking. This is especially helpful when there are supplies or tools that you don't have access to. For example, BrainU, a grant-funded neurology education program nearby our school in the Twin Cities, donated sheep brains for my neuroscience students to dissect, something we likely wouldn't have been able to access with our budget. This was part of a bigger PBL about the brain and addiction that my students were working on at the time. Another great way to use the community as a resource is to collaborate on real problems or community needs with community members and organizations. So partner with local organizations to co-create solutions to actual challenges they're facing. These collaborations give students real purpose in their work. My students once worked with a small business that needed help with social media marketing, for example, and the students developed a strategy for them and taught them how to use it. Use community learning spaces. You may not have access to certain equipment or environments in your own school or in your own home school, but someone nearby might. Use the place, use the world as your classroom. My students explored plant science inside a university greenhouse as part of a bigger pollinator garden PBL that we were doing. Since we didn't have access to a greenhouse ourselves, this opportunity and access to real botanists deepened their understanding of plants, specifically pollinator plants that we were focused on at the time. Finally, invite the community to share stories and perspectives. Bring in community members to share their lived experiences, professional journeys, or perspectives on important topics. This sparks empathy, curiosity, and great project ideas. We've had veterans share stories about their service, a refugee open up about their personal journey, artists show how they tell powerful stories through their work. Each visit left a lasting impression on my students, and these stories often enrich ongoing PBLs, or sometimes they even spark new ideas for student-led PBLs. Now, the big question is, how do you find these community resources? Start with people already in your circle, like parents, caregivers, grandparents, friends, and neighbors. Your school community is a goldmine of potential connections. Send out a quick email asking families, like, do you have a hobby, a career, experience, or talent you'd like to share with students? One year, a parent who was a beekeeper taught my biology students about pollination. Another time, a student's uncle who owns a food truck came in to talk about budgeting and entrepreneurship. Post in your school or neighborhood Facebook group or community forums like Nextdoor. I've had students go door to door in our school's neighborhood, introducing themselves to local business owners and organizations. They handed out a student-created newsletter showcasing some of the amazing work happening in our classroom and invited community members to connect if they were interested in collaborating on future projects. The community is an incredible classroom. You just have to open the door. I created a free connections guide to help you get started with these relationships and brainstorm who's already in your network. You can grab that in the description. Thanks for watching, and remember, you don't have to do this alone. There are people right in your community who are excited to help out. Subscribe to Experiential Learning Depot on YouTube so that you get more videos on project-based learning, on real-world learning, on community learning. I'm here for you. Ask your questions in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.